Sometimes it's difficult to talk about an anthology series, especially when episodes are largely unconnected. Take Tales from the Crypt, for instance. The only real running thread is the host's appalling jokes, which, no matter how much you love the character, have to be called out. Others, like Tales from the Dark Side, have even less in common between episodes, making each one feel entirely self-contained. And yet, every so often, an anthology series will try to establish a thread of connectivity, weaving characters, settings, or events across episodes. That's when the experience becomes intriguing rather than fragmented. Welcome to the Snake Pit, where we're full of bile and venom. I'm your host, Snake Daemon, and today we're diving into the messy, often wildly inconsistent world of anthology television, specifically the erotica/crime hybrid Femme Fatales. Women in Femme Fatales find extraordinary ways of coping with their problems, channeling survival instincts and inner guile. The show draws heavily on pulp fiction, film noir, and graphic novels set in contemporary times. Each episode is introduced by the enigmatic hostess Lilith, featuring distinct casts and storylines, sometimes intertwined, occasionally with Lilith herself appearing within the story. I didn't have high expectations, but after downloading a few episodes from Amazon, I was pleasantly surprised. The production values immediately caught my eye. The series looks like a classic 1940s crime thriller, complete with stylized dialogue reminiscent of old pulp films. Twist endings are frequent and often satisfying, but what really stood out was the sense of a shared universe, a rare feature in anthology shows. The Season 2 comic book episode was an especially fun nod to this. Performances are strong overall, with memorable femme fatales and engaging leads. The show has a dark, nihilistic streak that I personally appreciated, combining darkness and humor in a way reminiscent of Breaking Bad. Episodes like the Women in Prison homage really shine, with excellent lead performances and genuinely surprising twists. Others, like Something Like Murder, feel straight out of the 1940s. If it weren't for some stylishly photographed sexy love scenes paired with a twist ending. Yet Femme Fatales never settles. The antic speed date breaks the mold with a screwball comedy vibe, starring Reggie Hayes in a hysterical role. Episodes like The Clinic, featuring horror legend Angus Scrimm, and The White Flower with Tina Castiani, maintain variety, while the second season continues with standout character actors like Chris Mulkey, Eric Roberts, and Vivica Fox. Some episodes venture into odd sci-fi territory, with mixed results, but overall the quality remains surprisingly high. It's a shame that Femme Fatales never got a Season 3, because the show clearly had untapped potential. The first 2 seasons hinted at a shared universe, recurring characters, and increasingly ambitious storytelling. From noir-inspired thrillers to wacky screwball comedies, there were seeds planted for more complex arcs, deeper exploration of Lilith as a character, and even more inventive episodes blending erotica, crime, and pulpy suspense. Instead, viewers were left with dangling threads and unfulfilled promises, a classic case of squandered opportunity in anthology television, leaving fans to wonder what could have been if the series had been given the chance to fully evolve. That said, not everything is perfect. Episodes like Behind Locked Doors push the series further into the softcore realm, and while the acting isn't award-worthy, it's far more watchable than other installments. The series clearly tries to emulate the unhinged energy of shows like The Hitchhiker, but unlike that 1980s nostalgia trip filled with absurd fashions and synth-driven paranoia, Femme Fatales often comes across as half-baked noir flat lighting, uneven performances, and a host whose presence feels more like a check-the-box gimmick than a compelling narrative device. Ultimately, while the show attempts to lecture on violence and the exploitation of women, it's often undermined by its own seriousness and uninspired presentation. Where The Hitchhiker had humor and pure insanity to keep things lively, Femme Fatales sometimes feels bland, directionless, and overly earnest. A cautionary tale of what happens when modern anthology TV tries to be edgy but forgets to entertain. Thanks for dropping by the Snake Pit, where we thrive on untapped potential and lost opportunities. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, like the video, and leave your opinion in the comments, where naturally I won't read them. Until next time, stay venomous.